A very good day I bid to the audience from 29th Malta International Conference 2021. I am Jasnil JC from Institute Pendidikan Guru, Campus Bahasa Antarabangsa. I take part in Track 6, Creative Student Teachers Showcase, and today I'm going to present about an action research as a student teacher with the topic of using word mapping strategy to enhance Year 4 pupils' vocabulary learning. Below are my details. So first of all, I would like to stress on the issue that I have faced throughout my practicum, phase 1 and phase 2 in ESL classroom. So the main issue that I have noticed is the vocabulary issue, and I have find out two reasons. Where the first one, most of the upper primary pupils will lack of exposure, where they only use English during English lessons. And another reason will be they had limited vocabulary, where they're unable to write a simple sentence, could not express their thoughts by using the correct word, and also had difficulty in comprehending the text and instructions. So for this, I would like to say that having limited vocabulary had a huge impact in their language skills. So due to these reasons, I noticed that the pupils felt discomfort and stress when they are learning vocabulary in the classroom. So before that, before moving on to the intervention, word mapping strategy, I would like to introduce some of the literature review. So for this literature review, it says that vocabulary is the most crucial element in language learning, and it should be having a clear context while using the word so that pupils can understand better. And also, ESL learners will be insecure due to limited vocabulary knowledge, which this could hinder them from learning and using English language daily. So from my experience, I initially introduced the words by using only pictures and also explain their meaning without providing some sample sentences. And I also did not think of another effective way to teach vocabulary, because I assumed that pupils would catch up on their own when they encountered the particular words in another context. So what I discovered is that they're confused by the abstract words such as achievement and contribution. So it comes to my mind that, is this the only way for the pupils to learn vocabulary? And what is called lesson if they did not learn anything from it? This could relate to my personal belief that I think rote learning is the most effective way to learn vocabulary due to my primary school culture. But Hassan 2016 argues that vocabulary acquisition is not something a learner can spend time learning or memorizing like grammar and to be successful. So with this, I realized there's a gap between my own values and also the teaching learning practices. So following by these literature reviews, it concludes that a word map can help in arranging the content and also focus on the conceptualization of pupils' learning processes and emphasize on how information is received, organized, stored, and retrieved by the mind. And I found that some studies from other countries that using word mapping strategy has positively affected pupils' vocabulary mastery, and they show improvement after the intervention is applied. So I would say that word mapping strategy can be a very effective way for pupils to enhance their vocabulary learning. As you can see on the screen, this is the word map. It contains of 5 parts, where the first one, we have to fill in the unfamiliar words that we encountered in the reading text. At the middle, labeled 1 that you can see on the screen. So number 2, you have to write your definition in your own words on how far you understand the words. Step number 3. Pupils have to write about the synonyms of the unfamiliar words so that they will connect the unfamiliar word with another word and form a relationship between the words. And it follows by drawing a picture of the unfamiliar words so that pupils will have a picture of it and have a rough idea of it, how it looks like. And the last one will be use the unfamiliar word meaningfully in a sentence where it makes sense, that makes teachers or their friends understand about how it is used in the particular sentence, and it brings the meaning of it. So these are the examples. Firstly, I fill in the word ill, and then I define in my own words. Then follow it by the synonyms, pictures, and also the sentence. So for this research, I adhere to Chemist and McTaggart's model, 1988, and it contains 2 cycles. For this intervention, I focus on step 2, where in the 2 cycles, it will be implemented in different ways. Where the first cycle, I'll ask the pupils to use dictionary or Google search engine to look for the meaning of the word. And the second cycle, teacher will first briefly explain about the meaning of the word and then ask the pupils to write the definition based on their understanding from the explanation from the teacher. So these are pupils' work when they manage to fill in the columns correctly and also making sense. So I will summarize the findings here, where most of the pupils improve after using word mapping strategy to learn vocabulary. So before that, I would like to emphasize that I gave a test for the pupils before the intervention and after intervention, where before the intervention it is called test 1, where after the intervention is called test 2. Both tests use the same test papers. So it is to test how this word mapping strategy can help pupils to improve their vocabulary and to examine how far they improve after the intervention is applied to them. So as you can see in the table here, test 1, test 2. So from here, I pick 10 of my research participants to explain about it. Alright, so from here you can see that most of the participants obtain higher marks and improve at least 1 mark with a higher mean score of 13.0 in test 2 as compared to test 1, 11.2. So as you can see from here, most of the participants improved at least 1 mark, and participant G and participant I improved the most at 6 marks. Next, most of the pupils claim that they like to use word map in vocabulary learning and it is useful for them to learn new words. So before that, I have to explain that I will use journal entries and questionnaire data to support this statement. So as you can see in the words in red color, they can learn the word easily because they can draw picture, it is interesting, and they like interesting in learning materials. And it is supported by the data from questionnaire, where more than half of the participants stated that they like to use a word map to learn vocabulary in English lessons, and they are able to draw the picture of the word in the word map. So I will say that the elements of the word map managed to arouse the interest to learn vocabulary and enhance pupils' conceptualization of ideas, where they were able to build a relationship between the vocabulary and the picture to convey the meaning effectively. Also, another journal entry stated that the pupils were excited because they have new things to learn and even use word map at home. So this proved that they can use word map whenever outside or inside the lesson. So yeah, this is supported by the data from the questionnaire. I will say that pupils' vocabulary mastery improved because word mapping strategy in graphic based provided a useful way for pupils to have valuable practice. In conclusion, The use of word mapping strategy can enhance Year 4 pupils' vocabulary learning. These are my references. Thank you for lending your ears. That's all from me. Thank you.